Hi, I'm Chip Rome with your Armstrong Neighborhood Channel, and you are watching In the Know. For this episode, we are going to learn about the Warriors Rock Concert that's coming back to Connellsville. And joining me are some special guests. On my left is Linda Shear, who's the founder of the CAHS Patriots. Good to see you, Linda.
Good to see you again, Chip. It's wonderful to be back with Armstrong.
Yeah, good to have you here. We have Kim and Gary Racan, and Kim and Gary are the producers for the Studio E-Band and also the founders of Warriors Rock, which we'll learn more about that as we talk here. But first, let's start off with the important news. When is the concert in Connellsville?
November the 1st. That's a Saturday. And the first Saturday of November, wonderful opportunity at the Connellsville High School. The doors will open, well, actually earlier, because we have a special event before the concert. The concert doors will open for the auditorium at 6. The concert starts at 7. And it is going to be a most wonderful evening. We recorded the interviews with the veterans on Monday, and I'm telling you, there are stories this year that will melt your heart.
Yeah, and you have a special guest that's coming back, and who wants to share that news?
This one deserves, because he was actually booked somewhere else, and Kim got him. So go ahead.
Well, he's a good friend of ours.
Yes.
Darryl, we met him through the private events business with a client that booked him. I don't know why, but he fell in love with Gary's voice. We fell in love with his voice. It was a marriage made in heaven. Yeah. And so Connellsville was a special place. He loves it here. It's our 10th year coming back to Connellsville.
Gary Worley, right?
Darryl Worley.
Yep, Darryl Worley.
Yeah, who had, oh my gosh, probably a dozen #1 hits on the charts and is still very active in the business.
Wonderful. It's great that you were able to get in. This is his 3rd year for Connellsville, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you mentioned something special this year. So you're having a dinner before.
Yes, a lot of people have said, well, gee, that's a Saturday night, and before a concert, where do we go to dinner? I don't want to just go to the bar. I don't want to just have, McDonald's. So we talked about it, and Sean Stutz with Sean's Smoking Barbecue decided that he would present a buffet dinner, and it will be available from 4 to 6:15. So you can eat even at 6:15 and get in there to your seat at 6:45. It'll work out perfectly. And this way, that's an opportunity for families to get together, sit together, have their dinner, and so on.
Or it could be a date night.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true. So we're excited to try that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Sean does a great job. We have used him here for some events and always enjoyed his food.
He was one of my students. Yeah. So he was quite a character.
You're giving away your age.
I am. That's okay. He's quite a character, and he was in school. And I think that's why he agrees to do some things for me different times, because I would Sean, you're going to be in trouble.
Let's talk about tickets and where folks can get them and what the cost is, if we would, please.
The veterans can attend the event free. Tickets are $25 general admission, $40 reserved seating. The buffet tickets are $20. You can get those when you get your tickets, or you can get them at the door, the same with the tickets. Tickets are available by calling me at 724-322-1494 at the Carnegie Library, at the Appalachian Creativity Center, or City Hall.
Okay, so multiple locations you can get.
Easy to get to.
As you said, you can get them at the door too, but it's best to get them in advance.
I would think so, especially if you want a reserve seat, because some people I have a problem with my arm, so I need on the end so I don't bump somebody. Or if, some people have mobility issues and want to come down and take their seat and then move the walker off to the side or whatever. So it's worked beautifully. And I have to say, when people leave these concerts, they're like, I never knew something like this existed.
Yeah, it is a very nice event. And what a great way to honor the veterans, too. And we'll just kind of segue into how each concert is different, because, Kim, you want to talk about how you set these up, about the veteran interviews and that?
It starts with a team leader. Linda's the team leader in Connellsville. Yeah. So she came to a concert 10 years ago, attended the concert, and was like, I need to bring this to Connellsville. Mm-hmm. So as a team leader, she's the one that has the relationships in the community. Mm-hmm. So, of course, we always give 100% of the ticket proceeds to an organization, grassroots veterans organization. Mm-hmm. Her second job is to get sponsors. We don't cold call anybody. That's just not how we do things. And the third thing is the veterans. So having her roots in this community every year the veterans change.
Right.
The music, the band, we're so fortunate to have a band that really grabs a hold of these also. Gary, as a musical producer, there's many songs that need to be learned for the veterans.
Right.
We don't tell them what songs. They don't choose from a list.
Yeah.
So he puts into production any of the songs that a veteran requests, because if you've not been to a concert, we present videos, pre-recorded interviews of veterans throughout the concert. They state their name, branch, when they served, what their role was. They tell a story, and every interview ends with the song that reminded them of home when they were deployed. And the band kicks into that song.
Yeah.
So we seduce the audience with music, but they never forget the veterans.
So you've learned a lot of music over the years through this, I'm sure.
I've been doing this quite a few years.
Yeah.
One of our stand-up jokes on stage is, Gary, how long have you been doing this? And I'll say, I don't know. It changes every year.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is in a concert where he's doing a song from World War II, and the next song is Uptown Funk. It's like, wow.
Yes, a lot of different music, which is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
A lot of variety. So let's talk about memories. So this is the 10th year for Connellsville.
Yes.
But you've been doing it long. You have been producing.
This is our 18th year.
18th year, okay.
Of doing the concerts. It started at the Palace Theater in Greensburg.
Okay.
One of our family's close friends, Jeremy Feldbush, who was one of the first wounded in Iraq, was a patient of my sister and her husband's. And we just watched him go from death's doorstep to becoming somebody that could walk in this room, and everybody would just fall in love with him. Blinded, had traumatic brain injuries. He's just an amazing young man. And we thought, well, let's do a concert in honor of our fathers. Gary's father served in World War II. My dad in Korea. And let's do something, but let's make it unique. And honestly, it was a grand slam right away.
Yeah.
And so from that very first concert, has taken us all over the country. To Sheboygan, Wisconsin, San Diego,
Wow.
Hamptons, Florida, like just all over.
Yeah.
Because it grabs somebody.
It does, yeah. Oh, I've been to several of them, and they're wonderful events. And so talk about Connellsville and some memories that you have from here. What are some unique things that have happened
Oh my
here,
gosh.
please?
So, well, one that Armstrong is a part of is the year that the unit from Connellsville was deployed. They were Afghanistan? I don't remember specifically where they were.
Iraq.
You videotaped this and live streamed it to their barracks.
Right.
And just to know, and then we had wives and children on stage with signs saying hello to their loved one.
So it was a
I
satellite,
get
a
teary-
satellite uplink.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's
So
the-
they were missing each other, but getting to watch the concert together. That's one memory that was, and that was the first and only time that ever happened.
Wow. And I remember in 2020 when we couldn't be together inside, and we actually were able to go down to Monongahela,
To the
the
Aquatorium.
Aquatorium, which was a really unique event too.
We filmed a TV show. It was during that sea time, COVID. And what
The
we
season.
did, we showed it on your station.
Right.
But since nobody could buy a ticket, we had a text number on the screen. And so people could watch it and text their donation. So that Linda was still able to send her packages.
It was a
Do you remember that, Gary?
telethon.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, what a beautiful day. I remember when we were there filming, it was like a
gosh.
perfect day. And as I mentioned earlier, it was just good to be outside.
It was so good to be outside. I'll never forget a song from that was Moon River, but Gary sang Mon River.
And I finished the whole song after 3 takes, and it was perfect, and a train went by.
Yeah.
Yes,
We had to do it again.
And if it wasn't trains, we had boat traffic, which they didn't make any noise, but they were going behind us. They were
Yeah,
moving.
yeah.
But it was a nice
So
event.
beautiful.
So you mentioned sponsors, and that sponsors are important to your program.
Yes, because that covers the expenses associated with the production and so on, because the proceeds that are generated go to send packages to our deployed troops. They help sponsor wreaths and at the National Cemetery, the Alleghenies, for the wreaths across America. We have, of course, a website that very few people know. It's ConnellsvilleAreaVeterans.com. When the people were talking about the memorial in Connellsville disappearing, Linda, why don't you do that? And then you're telling me I have to choose between honoring veterans from years ago or supporting our young people who are deployed. I won't choose. So I went the next best way, and we created this website. It is for anyone who attended or graduated from Connellsville Joint, Dunbar Township, or Connellsville area. And what they do is they get in touch with me, provide their information. It's a wall on that site. You touch on the name, it opens up the page. It has pictures and so on, whatever they've sent me. And that's costly because, you know, I have to have GoDaddy, keep that alive and up. I'm not technology, you know.
But you have people that are.
Yes, and you know, so we have expenses there. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner programs for our veterans at different times and so on. So, you know, there are things associated. We are a 501c3. We are a federally recognized charity. When I started 22 and a half years ago, there was one young man who was a senior, and he kept saying, "How long are we doing this?" And my response was always, "Until they're all home or God calls me home." Well, in that interim, unfortunately, I had cancer. And I went to my attorney and I said, "Jim, I need you to do something. I need you to incorporate the group so if something happens, they can still continue if I'm not here." So we are, you know, above board. We're legitimate. People who support us, their donations are tax deductible and so on. And we're very honored that in a small town where there's no really big business or industry, we have been able to ship over 13,377 packages. We've covered the wreaths. We've sponsored more than 7,000.
That's
And
awesome.
so, you know.
That is amazing. And that's a lot of money, too. You mentioned earlier it's $73 a package.
Yeah, each package, we try to get out a big shipment at Christmas, which is considered 100 packages. Content, $50 a box, $23 per postage per box. So just that mailing, I need to come up with $7,300.
And the Warriors Rock Concert is your biggest fundraiser.
That's what covers Christmas.
Yeah, that's great. What are some of the contents that are in a box? What are some of the things you send? I know it varies, but
one thing that they laugh about are socks.
Okay.
And I have to tell you why. There was, when I came home from college and I started working on my master's degree, I traveled back and forth by myself, so I had a CB radio. And there were a couple of young kids in Connellsville who would talk to me, you know, back and forth from you know, anyhow, I can't think, California. And this couple of them then started to go to BYF at the Baptist Church, where I was the youth sponsor and so on. And then they went to high school, and I lost them, all right? I got an email. "Linda, I don't know if you remember me. I'm your old friend Mouse." And I knew right away. And he said where he was and how terrible things were. And he said, "It is so wet. My boots and socks never dry. I'm getting sores on my feet." And he said, "I prayed last night, please God, send me some clean, dry socks."
That's a neat story,
And he
Linda.
said, "I got a box from you today."
Wow.
And it had socks in it. So socks.
an answer to prayer.
Yep.
So
Socks.
every box has socks, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
there's socks. Then there's goodies. There's, you know, dried fruit. There's pudding cups. There's little soup packages, you know.
Yeah.
And in even some of them, there's some toys, you know, those soft that they can throw at one another and so on.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate you
Well-
starting the organization, all the students you've worked with, and Kim and Gary, I appreciate what you folks have done too, and how you've been able to honor all these veterans. So thank you.
And I'll
for
tell
that.
you one thing. He knows that I have a couple of favorite songs, but the last four letters
Last four letters.
in
Your
American.
Oh,
My
American,
song.
I can't.
Yes, he's the American. I
Sing it,
can't.
Gary. Just sing that chorus. The last.
Last four letters of American spell. I can't.
And that's
There
one of
you
my
go.
favorites.
And you got to hear it here today.
That's right. That's the best.
Well, if you, how about a website or for tickets and,
Okay.
and a Facebook page?
Basically, Facebook is CAHS Patriots.
Okay.
The website, Connellsville, CAHSpatriots.com.
Okay.
And again, my phone number,
Mm-hmm.
it's my cell phone. They can text, let me know. We just keep it going every way we can.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, great job. And this is
Because
your number 10?
These are the best.
For Connellsville, 18 for you folks that has producing this. So it's a great job.
10 here in Connellsville.
Yeah. Well,
And actually, for the woman who does not go to concerts, 11 years ago when I was invited to the first concert at Albert Gallatin, I prayed, please God, just get me through this.
Yeah.
Because a former student who had been critically wounded got tickets. His younger son said, Daddy, I don't want to go. Well, I'm not, and I swear, at the end of the night, I was not sitting in my seat. I was on the edge holding on. I didn't walk to the car. I floated. I went out in the hall and walked up to this man and said, I don't know how, but you're coming to Connellsville.
10 years later, you're still here.
And I've been to 14 of their concerts,
Yeah,
the
that's
woman who
amazing.
does not go to concerts.
Yeah.
So that tells you something.
It's a great thing. So, well, folks, thank you for your
thanks,
work.
Chip.
And thank you
Thank
for
you
your
to
talent
Armstrong.
and sharing it. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And now you're in the know.